How do you put together a UX writing portfolio? Hey guys, welcome back to UX Hero, the home of UX writing on YouTube. And today's question is a very popular question. I get asked this one a lot. How do you put together a UX writing portfolio? What should I include? How do you put together a case study? And I'll be honest, I've purposefully avoided putting this video together because it's a very difficult question to answer. I'm going to do my best in this video to just cover the three main problems that I see, three things that you can have a look at in your portfolio now and try and fix. But what I don't want to do is give people a template, because then what happens is everybody's portfolio just ends up looking the same. A portfolio is supposed to be unique. It's supposed to be a unique representation of your work as a content designer. I need to see what you choose to include, how you present it. And what I don't want is to give my 2,000 plus subscribers a template and we end up with 2,000 portfolios that essentially look the same. Nobody's going to stand out from the crowd. Before we get into these three main problems, I just want to say that these kind of guides, whether it's for UX writing or UX design, are no substitute for a real personal portfolio critique. Because everybody's portfolio is unique, they're all going to have slightly different areas for improvement. If you're interested, I do offer portfolio critiques. You can go to uxhero.com/critiques. You find all the information on there. You can contact me and we'll set it up. Just bear with me because I do get a lot of requests, so I get booked up very quickly. I'll do my best in this video to cover the main three problems I see, but it really is no substitute for a one-on-one personal critique. I think mine are very different to a lot of portfolio critiques out there. A lot of people will send you a written report or a pre-recorded, 10-15 minute video. What I do in addition to the report is I schedule a one-on-one call with you and I walk you through the portfolio step by step, showing you what small changes you can make and what bigger things you can kind of work on long term to really level up the quality of your portfolio. So if you're interested, again, links in the bio below, but let's move on to these three main problems. Okay, number one, and this is a huge problem with designers and writers, and that's not explaining the why, not showing the process. Now, it seems really simple, but I see this time and time again, and even with designers who include a before and after screenshot, I can't see the process. How did you arrive at that after shot? So really focus on the why. Open up your portfolio, each of its case studies or projects, and ask why. Ask yourself why about everything. Why are you fixing this problem? What is the problem? What tests did you do? But also, why did you do those tests? Why did you arrive at that final copy? As a hiring manager, I don't really focus on the style you use or the words you use. Obviously, I need to know that you understand basic UX writing principles, but that really comes across in the explanation of the process rather than the final copy that I can see. But it's not just the words. Let me give you an example of a portfolio critique I did recently. I won't mention any names. Hopefully he doesn't mind. Now, this writer had a case study, and for that case study, he did a close test. Now, for that scenario, a close test is the right test to do. However, he didn't highlight why he chose a close test. And as a hiring manager, I need to see that he understands that a close test is the right test to do, and it wasn't just a fluke and he arrived at a close test by accident. I need to see why. Explain to me why a close test is right in that scenario. How many people did you run the test on? Why that many people? So really focus on the why aspect of everything, not just the what. Show me the process. Why did you choose this type of test? Why did you end up using those specific words? What UX writing principle does that relate to? If you're running out of ideas for tests, pick up my book, UX Writing for Beginners. There's a close test in there, first click test, 5-second test, card sorting. You can run any of these tests as an experienced UX writer with real projects or a new UX writer looking for case studies. But explain to me why you chose a close test. Explain to me why you chose a card sorting test. And this is why I think portfolio critiques are a lot more useful than these kind of guides, because obviously I don't know what's in your portfolio. I can just say to you, focus on the why, focus on the storytelling, on the process. Don't just include a before and after. I don't care that you improved the content. I need to know that you know why you improved it. Focus on the why aspect. Okay, so the second point, again, I see this time and time again in portfolios for writers, designers of various levels, both new and experienced, And that's a poor selection of projects or case studies to include in your portfolio. In a portfolio, really, you can only include 3 to 5 projects max, depending on your level of seniority. So you need to be very selective about what types of projects you include. If you think back to the first point on why, when I open up somebody's portfolio and I see 3 projects, the first thing I think is, why these 3? As a UX writer, you need to choose projects that show the different types of value you can bring. Don't show me 3 projects where all you did was fix the words and made the words better. Explain to me why they're better. So for example, you might have one that focuses on information architecture. You might have one that focuses on brand voice and tone. You might have one where you fixed the whole logic of a project. Those are 3 very different tasks. There's nothing about brand voice and tone necessarily in information architecture. Likewise, there's nothing about information architecture in a project that focuses on brand voice and tone. So really think about what value a content designer, a UX writer, can add to an organization, and choose different types of projects. Same for designers. I need to see different types of projects. I need to see what types of tasks you're capable of handling. Point number 3 is understand your audience, and it's a very difficult point to summarize in a video like this. Again, I really advise people to get a critique. It doesn't have to be with me, but find somebody experienced to have a look at your portfolio, because it's really going to be tailored to what you've got in there now. It's very hard for me to summarize. It depends what project you've got in there now, but think about point number 1, I need to see the why. Think about point number 2, show me different types of value that you can bring. This is all about understanding your audience. Your audience is not a UX writer. They're a UX writing manager, or they're a head of design, or they're a head of product. Depending on the level of position you're applying for, these people are going to have very different requirements for what they want from a UX writer. So it's really about understanding how to tell a story for a specific audience. For example, you might have changed the copy on a 404 landing page and made it witty. Is that useful? What value does that bring to the organization? If you can make a story out of it and you can show measurable, that's the key word, measurable change that you brought, then fine, include it. But I'll be honest, as a UX writing manager, if you're including 404 landing pages in your portfolio, I'm going to really want to see why that's in there. You're really going to have to sell it to me. What value is that bringing? Because in terms of the amount of projects that my team has, that would be very, very low priority for us. Okay, so I need to see, as a hiring manager, that you can identify which projects are high priority, high value. Understand your audience. Understand they are not UX writers. They're going to have very different requirements on themselves from upper management. They've had to tell upper management, hey, we need another writer. They're going to have to justify that increase in cost. So you're going to have to sell yourself. Why are you worth that cost? What value are you bringing to the organization? That's what your audience wants to see, that not only do you bring value, but you understand what that value is. All right, guys, that's it. Hopefully this has been useful. Like I say, very difficult to summarize this kind of advice and content without seeing your personal portfolio, which is why I recommend everyone get a critique. Doesn't have to be from me, but find somebody who is experienced as a manager, as a hiring manager, because like I said in point number 3, you need to understand your audience, and UX writers do not look at the same kind of problems as UX writing managers, or they shouldn't. If you do want a critique, again, link is in the bio below, uxhero.com/critiques. If you've got any questions about UX writing, content design, whatever it may be, leave it in the comments section. You might see it answered in a future video. Remember to like, subscribe, get my free book, UX Writing for Beginners, on Amazon, and I'll catch you in the next one.